Hello everyone, this is our last topic for the week. It is prokaryotic versus eukaryotic cells, and I hope everyone is doing well today. Our objectives today, we're going to be able to describe a prokaryotic and a eukaryotic cell, and then contrast prokaryotic with eukaryotic cells with each other. So it's good to learn these together. There's a lot of similarities and then some very important differences as well. So I find it very good to do them side by side, learn them at the same time. Some questions I was thinking about that I would like you guys to try to answer is, when we are sick, what type of medicine do we use to get better? So I usually hear the word amoxicillin a lot, which is an antibiotic. So a lot of the times we take antibiotics to get better. When we're feeling maybe the flu or maybe we have an infection, we take an antibiotic. That means anti means against. Biotic is, bio stands for life, but biotic is a organism, a cell, for example. But when we get a fungus on our feet, what kind of medicine do we take? Which is an antifungal. So sorry, I should have said this antibiotic, it stands for bacteria, biotic. So our bacterias are very different than our fungals. Our fungals are cells, our bacterias, or our fungals are eukaryotic cells, and our antibiotics are prokaryotic cells. So we use something a little different to make us feel better, and we'll talk about the differences about each kind of these cells as we go through. So here's a video, as always, linked in our classroom. If you guys would like to pause this video and watch this, it's a good introduction to what we'll be learning about. But let's start with eukaryotic cells. So I have a nice picture of a eukaryotic cell up here. Eukaryotic cells, the U part stands for true. So this is true, and then the carry part stands for nucleus. So a true nucleus, or it has a nucleus in the inside of the cell. So it is often defined as a complex cell with membrane-bound organelles. So we can see we have different vacuoles, or this RER is rough endoplasmic reticulum, or smooth endoplasmic reticulum for this. Oh. Excuse me, for this SER. Then we also have many different things like the mitochondria that we've talked about, a Golgi body, and lots of organelles, and it's very complex. So this also is about 20 micrometers in size, and we'll look at that compared to our prokaryotic cells, but they're actually quite large compared to them. And then every type of plant, animal, fungi, and protists fall under a eukaryotic cell. So a lot of what we know, a lot of what we see is eukaryotic cells. And a lot of the things that are so small that we can't see them, that we need microscopes, are prokaryotic. So let's learn about prokaryotic cells. We have a different looking cell over here. It kind of has this flagellum, this kind of tail to help it move around, and a lot of fimbriae to help it attach to different things. But the inside of it looks very different than our other one. Let's talk about the word prokaryotic first, though. So pro means before, and kary means nucleus. So before a nucleus, or another way to think of it is pro rhymes with no, so no nucleus. The idea is that prokaryotics, because they're simpler, where first form of a cell was this kind of cell, and then they have evolved to be more complex and look more like this. So that we believe that before there was a nucleus and all these organelles, that prokaryotic cells were evolved. So it's a simple cell without membrane-bound organelles. Our DNA is housed in this cytoplasm, so we can see our DNA is just kind of in the middle of our entire cell in the liquid, rather than in a nice nucleus, and these are about 3 micrometers in size. So our eukaryotic cells are 20, these ones are 3, so it's a very big difference. And then all bacteria are prokaryotic cells. So whenever we hear about a certain type of bacteria, we know that we're talking about prokaryotic cells. So here's that size difference. We have sometimes this one says it's 10 to 100 micrometers, and this says it's about 1 to 10 micrometers for this cell and this cell. But our prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells both have a plasma membrane, which is also the cell membrane, sometimes referred to as the plasma membrane. It has cytoplasm, which is our fluid-like substance. They both have DNA. Our eukaryotic cell just keeps its DNA very closed in the nucleus, while our prokaryotic cell has its DNA right in the middle. And then we also have ribosomes, which help make proteins. And ribosomes are the the parts of the cell that help make proteins. And then cytoplasm is our fluid, like water on the inside. So this is the very important part that I want you guys to have copied in your notes, and we're going to practice this as well. But when we look at our Venn diagram, the things that are just prokaryotic are going to be in this side, just eukaryotic are in this side, and both will be in the middle. So our prokaryotic, we said, was our oldest type of cell, our very first. It's small and simple, whereas our eukaryotic cell is large and complex. Our prokaryotic lacks a nucleus, while our eukaryotic contains a nucleus. Our prokaryotic lacks organelles, while our eukaryotic contains organelles. Bacteria are a type of prokaryote, and animals, plants, and fungi and protists are eukaryotes. But they both have DNA, they both have a cytoplasm, they both have ribosomes, and they both have a plasma membrane. So let's look back at our objectives. So our objective was to be able to describe a prokaryotic and a eukaryotic cell and contrast the two. And our Venn diagram does them perfectly. We are being able to describe each one of them by listing off these 5 things or 4 things on this side and 4 things in the middle. So I hope that was pretty clear and straightforward. If you guys have questions, as always, please let me know.